Okay, I need your help with this. This is not a copypasta, it's a long read, but I feel like my safety or well-being could very well depend on this. It's a video game related, especially Majora's Mask. It's one of the creepiest shit that's ever happened to me in my entire life. Having that said, I recently moved into my dorm starting as a sophomore year in college, and a friend of mine gave me his old Nintendo 64. I was stoked, to say the least. I could finally play all of those old games of my youth that I hadn't touched in the last decade. His Nintendo 64 came with one yellow controller and a rather shoddy copy of Super Smash Bros. While beggars can't be choosers, needless to say, it didn't take long until I became bored of beating up level 9 CPUs. That weekend, I decided to drive around a few neighborhood units about 20 minutes or so off campus, hitting up the local garage sales, hoping to score on some good deals from ignorant parents. I ended up picking up a copy of Pokemon Stadium Goldeneye. Fuck yeah! F-Zero, and 2 other controllers for $2. Satisfied, I began to drive out of the neighborhood when the one last house caught my attention. I still have no idea why it did. There were no cars there, and the only table was set up was the random junk on it, but something sort of drew me there. I usually trust my gut on these things, so I got out of the car and was greeted by an old man. His outward appearance was, for lack of a better word, displeasing. It was odd. If you ask me to tell you why, I thought that. I couldn't really pinpoint anything. There was just something about him that put me on edge. I can't explain it. All I could tell you is that if it wasn't in the middle of the afternoon and there were other people within shouting distance, I would have not have thought of approaching this man. He flashed a crooked smile at me and asked me what I was looking for. Immediately, I noticed that he must have been blind in one of his eyes. On his right hand, he had that glazed over look about it. I forced myself to look his left eye instead, trying not to offend him, and asked if he had any old video games. I was already wondering how I could politely excuse myself from the situation when he told me he had no idea what a video game was, but to my surprise, he said he had a few ones in the old box. He assured to me that he'd be back in a jiffy, and turned his head back to the garage. As I watched him hobble away, I couldn't help but notice what he was selling on his table. Littered across it was rather peculiar paintings, various artworks that looked like the ink blots had a psychiatrist might show you. Curious, I looked through them. It was obvious why no one was visiting the guy's garage sale. They weren't exactly as sophisticated painting or pleasing as I came to the last one. For some reason, it looked almost like Majora's Mask, the exact same heart-shaped body with little spikes protruding outward. Initially, I just thought that since I was secretly hoping to find that game at these garage sales, some Freudian bullshit was projecting itself with the ink blots, but given the events that happened afterwards, I'm not sure now. I should have asked the man about it. I wish I did ask the man about it. After staring at the Majora-shaped ball, I looked up at the old man was suddenly there again, arm's length in front of me. Smiling at me, I'll admit, jumped out of my reflex and laughed nervously as he handed me a Nintendo 64 cartridge. It was a standard gray color, except that someone had written Majora on it in black permanent marker. I got butterflies in my stomach as I realized what a coincidence this was, and asked him on how much he wanted for it. The old man smiled at me and told me that I could have it for free, that it used to belong to a kid who was about my age that didn't live here anymore. There was something weird about how he phrased that, but I didn't really pay attention to it. I was too caught up in only finding this game, but getting it for free? I reminded myself to be a bit skeptical, since this looked like a pretty shady cartridge, and there was no guarantee it would work. But the optimist inside me interjected, maybe it was some kind of beta version or a pirated version of the game. That was all I needed to be back on Cloud 9. I thanked the man, and he smiled at me and wished me well, saying, "Goodbye then." At least that's what it sounded like to me. All the way to the car ride home, I had a nagging doubt that he said something else. My fears were confirmed when I booted up the game. To my surprise, it worked just fine. There was one save file named simply Ben. "Goodbye, Ben," he was saying. "Goodbye, Ben?" I felt bad for the man. Obviously a grandparent and obviously going senile. I, for some reason or another, reminded him of his grandson, Ben. Out of curiosity, I looked at the save file. Eyeballing it, I could tell that he was pretty far into the game, and he had almost most of the masks and 3/4 of the boss's remains. I noticed that he had used an owl statue to save the game. It was only on day 3 by the Stone Tower Temple, with hardly an hour left before the moon would crash. I remember thinking that was a shame that he had come so close to beating the game but never finished it. I made a new save file named Link, out of tradition, and started the game, ready to relive my childhood. For such shady looking cartridge, I was impressed on how smoothly it ran, literally just like any retail copy of the game, save for a few minor hiccups here and there, like textures being where they shouldn't be and random flashes of cutscenes at odd intervals, but nothing too bad. However, the only thing that was a little unnerving was that at the times the NPCs would call me Link, and the other times they would call me Ben. I figured it was just a bug, a fluke in the programming, causing our files to get mixed up or something. It did kind of creep me out after a while though. It was around after I had beaten the Woodfall Temple that I regrettably went into the save files and deleted Ben. I intended to preserve this file out of respect of the game's original owner. It's not like that I needed 2 files anyway. Hoping that would solve the problem, it didn't. And now NPCs wouldn't call me anything. They would just where my name should have been in the dialogue. There was just a blank space. My save file name was still called Link though. Frustrated with homework to do, I put the game down for a day. I started playing again last night, getting the Lens of Truth and working my way towards completing the Showhead Temple. Now some of you more hardcore Majora's Mask players know about the 4th day glitch. For those who don't know, you can Google it, but it's the glitch that is the right as the clock. It was about to hit 000000 on the final day, when you could talk to the astronomer and look through the telescope. If you time it right, the countdown disappears you and you essentially have another day to finish whatever you were doing. Deciding to do the glitch to try and finish the Snowhead Temple, I happened to get it right on the first try, and the time counter at the bottom disappeared. However, when I pressed B to exit the telescope, instead of being greeted by the astronomer, I found myself in the Majora's boss fight room at the end of the game. The trippy boxed arena, staring at the Skull Kid hovering over me. There was no sound, just him floating in the air, and the background music which was regular for the area, but still creepy. Immediately my palms began to sweat. This was definitely not normal. Skull Kid never appeared here. I tried moving around the area, but no matter where I went, Skull Kid would always be facing me, looking at me, not saying anything. Nothing would happen though, and just kept up for around 60 seconds. I thought the game had bugged or something, but I was beginning to doubt that very much. I was about to reach for the reset button when a text appeared on my screen. You're not sure why, but you apparently had a reservation. I instantly recognized that text. You get that message when you get the room key from Anju at the Stockpot Inn, but why was it playing here? I refused to get entertained with the notion that was almost as if the game was trying to communicate with me. I started to navigate the room again, testing to see if that was some sort of trigger that enabled me to interact with something else here. I then realized how stupid I was to even think that someone could reprogram the game. Like this was absurd. Even though, sure enough, 15 seconds later, another message appeared on the screen, and again, like the first one, it was already on a pre-existing phrase. Go to the lair of the temple's boss, yes or no. I paused for a second, contemplating on what I should press and how the game would react. I then realized that I didn't select no and couldn't do it. Taking a deep breath, I pressed yes, and the screen faded to white, and with the words, Dawn of a New Day, and the subtext beneath it. I was ported to fill me with the most intense sense of dread and impending fear that I ever experienced. The only way I could describe the way I felt there is having this feeling of inexplicable feeling upon profounded scale. I am normally not a depressed person, but the way I felt there was a feeling that I didn't know existed. It was such a twisted, powerful presence that seemed to wash over me. I appeared in some kind of weird Twilight Zone version of Clocktown. I walked out of the clock tower as you normally do when you start from day one, only to find all of the inhabitants were gone. Usually with the fourth day glitch, you could still find the guards and the dog that runs around outside the tower. This time they were all gone. What replaced them was the obnoxious feeling that there was something out there, in the same area as me, and that it was watching me. I had 4 hearts on my name and the hero's bow, but beyond this point, I wasn't even concerned for my avatar. I felt that generally I was in some kind of danger. Perhaps the most chilling thing was the music. It was a song of healing, ripped straight from the game itself, but played in reverse. It got louder, building up as you would expect something to pop out at you, but nothing did, and the constant loop began to wear on my mental state. Every now and then, I would hear the faint laugh of the happy masked salesman in the background, just quiet enough so I wasn't sure if I was just hearing things, but just loud enough to keep me determined to find him. I looked at all 4 zones of Clocktown, only to find nothing. No one. Textures were missing. West Clocktown had me walking on air. The entire area felt broken. Hopelessly broken, as the reverse song of healing repeated for what seemed to be the 50th time. I just remember standing in the middle of South Clock Tower, realizing that I had never felt so alone in a video game before. As I walked through the ghost town, I don't know whatever it was, the combination of out-of-place textures and the atmosphere, or the haunting melody of the once peaceful and soothing song being butchered and distorted. But I was literally on the verge of tears, and I had no idea why. I hardly ever cry. Something had gripped me there with this powerful sense of depression that was both foraging and crippling. I tried leaving Clocktown, but every time I attempted to zone out, the screen would fade to black and I would just zone into another part of Clocktown. I tried playing my ocarina. I wanted to escape, and I did not want to be here. But every time I played the Song of Time or the Song of Soaring, it would say, "Your notes echoed far, but nothing happens." By this point, it was obvious that the game didn't want me to leave, but I had no idea why it was keeping me here. I didn't want to go inside the buildings. I felt that it would be too vulnerable to whatever I was terrified of. I don't know why, but I came up with the idea that maybe if I drowned myself at the laundry pool, I could spawn somewhere else and leave this place. As I zoned in and ran towards the pool, that's when it happened. Link grabbed his head, and the screen flashed for a brief moment at the happy masked salesman smiling at me. Not Link, me, with Skull Kid's scream playing in the background. When the screen returned, I was staring at the Link statue from playing the song of elegy and of emptiness. I screamed as the things just stared back at me with the haunting facial expression. I turned around and ran out back to the South Clock Town, and to my horror, the fucking statue followed me. The only thing I can compare to it was like a weeping angel from Doctor Who. Every so often, at random intervals, the animation would play off the statue appearing behind me. It was like the thing that was chasing me, or I don't know what to fucking say it, haunting me. By this point, I was on the verge of hysterics, but not even once did the thought of turning off the console occur to me. I don't know why. I was so wrapped up in it. The terror felt so real. I tried to shake it off the statue, but it would literally appear right behind me every single time. Link started to begin to make weird animations that I had never seen him do before. He would flail his arms around or spasm randomly, and the screen would cut to the happy masked salesman smiling again, for a brief moment before I was face to face with that fucking statue again. I ended up running into the Swordmaster's dojo and to the back. I don't know why, but in my panic, I just wanted some kind of reassurance that I wasn't alone here. To my dismay, I found no one, but as I turned to leave, the statue just cornered me in the chubby cubby in the back. I tried attacking it with my sword, but to no avail. Confused and blacked in the corner, I just stared at the statue, waiting for it to kill me. Suddenly, the screen flashed again to the happy masked salesman. Link turned to face my screen, standing upright, mirroring the statue, looking at me with his copy, literally staring at me. Whatever was left on the fourth wall was completely shattered while I ran out of the dojo terrified. Suddenly, the game warped me into an underground tunnel, and the reverse song of healing queued up again. As I was given a brief moment to rest before the statue started appearing behind me again, this time aggressively. I could only take a few steps before it would summon behind me again. I hurriedly made my way out of the tunnel and appeared in the Southern Clock town. As I ran aimlessly in sheer panic, suddenly a red-headed scream aimed, and then the screen faded to black as the dawn of a new day, and something appeared again. The screen faded in, and I was standing on top of Clock Tower, with the Skull Kid hovering over me again. Silent, I looked up at the moon and was back, looming just meters above my head. The Skull Kid just stared at me hauntingly with that fucking mask. A new song was playing. The Stone Tower Temple theme played in reverse. In some kind of desperate attempt, I equipped my bow and fired off a shot at the Skull Kid. It actually hit him, and the play animation of him reeling back. I fired again on the third arrow. A text box appeared saying, "That won't do you any good, hee." I was picked up from the ground and levitated onto my back. Link screamed as he burst into flames, instantly killing him. I jumped when this happened. I had never seen this move used by anyone in the game, and Skull Kid himself didn't have any moves. As the death screen played, my lifeless body was still burning. The Skull Kid laughed, and the screen faded to black, only to have me reappear in the same place. I decided to charge him, but the same thing happened again. Link's body was lifted off the ground by some unknown force, and he immediately burst into flames again, killing him. This time, during his death scene, the faint sound of a reverse song of healing could be heard. On my third and final try, I noticed that there was no music playing this time, and there was an eerie silence. I remember that in the original encounter with the Skull Kid, you were supposed to use the ocarina to either travel back in time or summon the giants. I attempted to play the Song of Time, but before I could, I hit the last note. Link's body once again horrifically exploded into the flames and he died. As the death screen neared its end, it began to chug, as if the cartridge was trying to process a lot of something. When the screen came to, it was the same scene as it was the first 3 times, except this time Link was lying on the ground and dead in a position, and I had never seen him in that game before. His head was tilted upwards towards the camera with Skull Kid floating above him. I couldn't move, I couldn't press any buttons. All I could do was just stare at Link's dead body. After around 30 seconds of this, the screen simply faded out, showing the message, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't ya?" before kicking you out to the title screen. Upon getting back up to the title screen and starting again, I noticed my save file was no longer there. Instead, it was replaced with, "Your turn." Your turn had 3 hearts, 0 masks, and no items. I selected your turn and immediately was returned to the clock tower rooftop scene of my dead Link and the Skull Kid hovering over. With the Skull Kids laughing looping over and over again, I quickly hit the reset button. And when the game booted up, there was one more save file added below. Your turn, entitled Ben. Ben's save file was right back where it was before I deleted it, at the Stone Tower Temple, at the moon, with the moon almost crashing. I turned off the game at that point. I'm not superstitious, but this is way too fucked up even for me. I haven't even played it all day. Hell, I didn't even get any sleep last night. I kept hearing the reverse song of healing music in my head, just remembering the sense of dread I felt exploring Clocktown. I drove back to the old man's house today and asked him a few questions with a buddy of mine. No way I was going there alone, only to find that there was a for sale sign in the front yard. When I rang the door, no one was home. So now I'm back here writing down the rest of my thoughts and recording what happened. Sorry of some of this grammatical errors and whatnot. I'm running on no sleep here. I'm terrified of this game, and even now so that I relived it a second time writing this down. But I feel like there's still more time than meets the eye, and that there's something calling to me to investigate this further. I think Ben is something in this equation, but I don't know what. If I could get a hold of the old man, then I would be able to find some answers. I needed another day to recuperate before tackling this game again. I feel like it's taking a toll on my sanity, but next time I do this, I'm going to record all my footage all the way through, and the idea to record only came towards me at the end. So the last few minutes of what I saw, including Skull Kid and the LG statue, but it's on YouTube here. I'm going to stay in this thread for a little while longer before I fall asleep. To answer your questions, you guys might have hopefully listened to your ideas and theories to help me shed some light into this, or maybe things I should probably do. I think I'm going to play Ben's file tomorrow, just to see what happens. Maybe I was supposed to do that all along. I don't believe in the paranormal shit, but this is a little fucked up. But this Ben guy is just literally a good hacker programmer. I don't want to think of the alternatives if he isn't. It's the end of the copy-paste I am going to make. Maybe this is some kind of running gag the developers had and the other people have gotten gagged or hacked copies of the game like this. It just really scares me. I'm going to post what happened and link the video footage, but last night everything got too real for me. I think I'm done messing around with this. I passed out pretty much immediately after making the thread, but the last night that LG of emptiness statue, I had a dream about it. I dreamed that it was following me in my dream, and that I would be minding my own business, and then I would feel neck hairs stand up on end. I would turn around, that horrible lifeless statue would be staring at those creepy empty eyes right at me, merely inches away from me. In my dream I remember calling it Ben, and never before I had a dream that I could remember so vividly. But the important thing is, I did get some sleep, I suppose. Today, putting off playing the game for as long as I could, I drove it back up to the neighborhood to see if the old man came back. As expected, the car was still gone and no one was home. As I was walking back to my car, the man next door mowing the grass killed the power to his lawnmower and asked me if I was looking for someone. I told him I was looking to talk to the old man that lived here, to which he told me that what I already knew. He was moving, trying to different avenue. I asked if the old man had any family or relatives I could talk to. I discovered that the old man never had been married, nor had any children or grandchildren through adoption. Starting to become any worried, I asked one final question that I should have asked in the beginning. Who was Ben? The man's expression turned grim, and I learned that 4 doors down 8 years ago on April 23rd, the man informed me that it was the same day as his anniversary. That's how he knew the specific date. There was an accident with a young boy named Ben in the neighborhood. Shortly after his parents moved, and despite any further attempts to talk to the man to get more information, he wouldn't divulge anything else. I went back and started playing again. I loaded up the game, and immediately I jumped at this title screen, where the mask flies by. The sound was played, just not the normal whoosh sound. Something sounded much more higher pitched. I pressed start, bracing for the worst, just like 2 nights ago. The files Your Turn and Ben were displayed. Truth be told, I looked at the Ben file earlier. It seemed to fluctuate between displaying the owl save and not. I brought up the Ben file, hesitated for a moment before seeing the status that were not the same as they original were 2 days ago. It seemed like they already completed Stone Tower Temple this time. Summoning my courage, I selected it. Immediately I was thrust into complete chaos. Sure enough, I was outside the Stone Tower Temple, but that's just about all I expected. The zone itself wasn't called Stone Tower Temple, but rather Stone, and immediately the dialogue of the box of complete gibberish that I couldn't make out greeted me. Link's body was distorted. His back was cocked violently to one side where his posture was permanently disfigured. Link's expression was dull, almost monotonous. as he had the expression on his face that I didn't recognize before. It was a blank look, as if he was dead. As the link stood there and his body spasmed irregularly back and forth, I examined what had become of my avatar and noticed that I had a C button item that I had never seen before. Some kind of note, but pressing it did nothing. Sounds played back and forth that I didn't recognize from the game, almost demonic in nature. And there was some kind of high-pitched yip or some kind of laughter or something playing in the background. I had all of 2 minutes to take in the environment before another one of those fucking LG emptiness statues was summoned immediately after I was cut into the dawn of day screen. Except this time it was without the symbol subtext. It was Deku's scrub in Clocktown. This scene would normally play after the first time you travel back in time. That would say, "What just happened?" As if everything has, but instead of saying "started over," she finished her remark with broken text as the laugh off the happy mask salesman played in the background. I was put in the back controller of my character, but from a fucked up camera angle, I was able to look behind the door to the clock tower, watching my avatar run around as Deku's scrub, seeing on how I would have no place to go because I couldn't see anything. I begrudgingly went inside the door. There I was greeted with a happy mask salesman, who simply told me, "You've met a terrible fate, haven't you?" before the screen whited out. I was in Terma Fields as a human again. I may as well not been playing the same game anymore. I was being wrapped around and there was no sign of a day clock or anything. It took a moment to get my bearings as I looked around the field, and immediately I could tell that this was not normal. There were no enemies and a twisted version of the happy mask salesman theme was playing. I decided to run towards Woodfall before I noticed the gathering of 3 figures to the side, one of them being Epona. As I approached them, to my horror I saw the happy mask salesman, the skull kid, and the edgy emptiness of the statue standing up there. I figured that maybe they were just bugged out by now, and I told myself that I should have known better. Nevertheless, I approached them carefully and found that the skull kid was playing some kind of idle animation on loop. Same with Epona. The LG emptiness statue was doing it with what it's been doing all along. It was just standing there eerily. It was a happy mask salesman that scared me more profoundly than the other 2. He was too idle, wearing that shit-eating grin, but wherever I moved, his head would slowly turn and follow me. I had not engaged in any dialogue with him, nor I was in combat with him. His head still continued to follow my movements, which reminded me of my first encounter with the Skull Kid on top of Clock Tower. I pulled down my ocarina, to which the game played during the ding sound when you're supposed to play your ocarina. I tried along, and I hadn't played it yet, and the happy mask salesman owned song, and then the song that had been playing on a loop back in day 4 of the Song of Healing. I finished playing the song, and as I did, an ear-piercing shriek blasted my TV. The sky immediately started flashing. The happy mask salesman twisted theme song sped up, intensifying the fear inside me, and Link exploded into the flames and died. The 3 figures stayed lit up during my death scene as they watched my lifeless body burn. I couldn't describe how sudden and terrifying the transition from eerie terror it is. You're going to have to watch the video if you want to see firsthand. That same fear caused me to lose sleep 2 days ago and started to grip on me again. I was met with some kind of meaning behind that. And the text said, "You met with a horrible fate, haven't you?" I had a little time to ponder, as I was immediately given another cutscene of transforming into Zora, and now I found myself in the giant Temple Bay. I hesitated, curious to see how the game had in store for me. I slowly made my way towards the beach, where I found Epona. I wondered why the game decided to put her there. Was the game implying that she was trying to get a drink? Unable to take the mask off, I decided that riding the steed wasn't the reason she was placed here. I suddenly realized that Epona kept neighing on the way she was angled and make it look like as if she was trying to signal to point me off in the distance. It was a hunch, but I drove to Great Bay, and then started swimming. Sure enough, I almost missed it. I found something at the bottom of the ocean, one less energy of emptiness statue. I went down to examine it, and suddenly my Zora started doing the choking animation. I'd never seen a Zora do that before, to which it didn't make sense because Zoras can breathe underwater. Regardless, my character choked to death and died, and again the statue was just the only thing highlighted on my death. I didn't respawn this time. I was booted back to the main menu as if I restarted the console. The press start screen was before me. I only knew the reason why it would put me there is because the save files had changed again. Taking a deep breath, I pressed start, and I was right. The new save files told me about Ben. Now it made sense why the statue appeared when I tried to go to the laundry pool. The game must have anticipated how I should have tried to escape the day 4 o'clock town. The two save files told me his fate, and I suspected Ben was dead. He had drowned. The game obviously isn't though through me. It still taunts me with the new save files. It wants me to keep playing. It wants me to go further. But I'm done with this shit. I'm not touching any more of those files. This is already too horrifying for me, and I don't even believe in the paranormal. I'm running out of explanations. Why would someone send me this message? I don't understand it. I just get too depressed just thinking about it. The footage is still up there for those who want to see it, and trying to analyze, maybe there's some kind of coded message in the gibberish or something symbolic that I went through. I'm too emotionally, mentally drained to fuck with it anymore. I know it's early in the morning. I've stayed up all night. I can't sleep. I don't care if people see this. It's not the point. I just want the world to spread so I don't suffer for nothing. I've lost the will to type about this, and less I dwell on this, the better. I think the video just speaks for itself. I did what you guys told me to do, played the Edgy of Emptiness song at the first prompt by the game was given, but I think that's what the game Ben, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I'm humoring this absurd idea he exists in the game. He wanted me to do it. But he's following me now, not just in the game, in his dreams. I can see him all the time, just behind my back, just watching me. I haven't gone to any of my classes. I've stayed in my dorm room with the windows closed and the blinds shut. That way I know he can't watch me. But he still gets to me when I play. When I play, he can still see me. The game's scaring me now. He talked to me for the first time, not just using text that's already in the game. It spoke to me, talked to me. It referred to as Ben. It talked to me. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it wants. I never wanted this. I just want my old life back. Stuff like this doesn't happen to people like me. I'm just a kid, and not even old enough to drink yet. It's so not fair. I want to go home. I want to see my parents again. I'm so far away from home at this school, I just want to hug my mom again. I just want to forget that statue's horrible blank face. My original game file is back, just the way I left it before it was gone. I don't want to play it anymore. But I feel like something bad will happen if I don't. But that's impossible, it's a video game. Haunted or not, it can't kill me, right? Like seriously though, it can't. That's what it kept telling myself, but every time I think about it, I'm not so sure. Let me just clear things up. I know you guys were worried about the Jadusable is okay. He just finished moving out today, and he said he's going to be back home. He's just taking this semester off. I'm not sure what happened. I have a vague idea that you guys probably know more than I do. Jadusable's roommate. Obviously, I knew something was wrong with him for a few days. He stayed in his room all day, and he fell in contact with literally all out of his friends, and I'm pretty sure he hadn't eaten properly anything. After the second day, I couldn't stay in there anymore, so I've been crashing at my buddy's place, only coming into my room to get my stuff that I needed. I tried talking to him several times, but he would cut me off and keep the conversation brief when I asked him about the strange behavior. It was like he was convinced something was haunting him. Yesterday I came to grab my philosophy book, and he approached me, looking awful, like bags under his eyes. He handed me his flash drive and gave me specific instructions. He told me that he needs me to do one last favor for him. He finally explained what had been going on and gave the account info to his YouTube account and told me that he's getting away from here. It lured him to play it again instead of trying to change what he shouldn't have done all that, and to upload the footage to inform people of what happened. I told him that he could do it himself and got this wild look on his face and told me that he's never going to look at the game again, and that's the last thing he said to me. He never said bye when his parents came to pick him up. I never even got to meet his parents. Honestly, I can't tell you what happened. When he spoke, this kind of hard to understand him, and this fucked up appearance really distracted me. On the flash drive, there was a footage of the game last night, a text document with his name and password for YouTube, and a Word document titled The Truth.txt was containing what he told me was his notes where he's taken. He told me that this meant everything to him and I followed his instructions exactly. Normally I wouldn't be so to the letter for a request over a fucking video game. But the way he spoke to me was that the way he looked at me and made me know that this was really serious. I'm going to honor that. I've had this video since yesterday, but I had someone help me use Pinnacle. It's not really my forte, but after watching it, I had to go back through and look at his other videos on his YouTube channel to realize that what was going on, and even I'm really confused. The video I'm releasing tonight, The Truth.txt, will be released on September 15th, just as he requested. I haven't dared to peek at it yet, so the first time I see it will be the first time you'll see it out of respect to my friend. To answer your questions, no, I haven't tried calling him yet. I think I'm going to give him a call tomorrow to see if he's okay or not. He should have gotten back to his home by now. And about the video in this video, I cut straight to when he loaded Ben file on the game. Looking back, I realized Jadusable left the save file screen in because it said different names sometimes. So on my bad part for it, but all of the time was just the same as the last video. Link and Ben, nothing different. I wasn't there when he played it, but it looks to me like in the beginning when he first spawns out testing his equipment, or seeing the items that he has or something, because apparently they've changed randomly before. Then after that, I just think the game got too personal for him. Hey guys, Jadusable here. This will be the last time you will be hearing from me, and this is my final gift to you. These are the notes that I have taken, the realizations I've made. Before I delve into this, I want to thank you for following me and thank you for listening. It feels like the weight of a powerful burden is about to be lifted. By the time you read this, I won't be around anymore. But after spending 4 days in this maddening game, I have begun to understand what's really play here, and hopefully after reading this, we can assure this would never happen again. There are things that I could not share with you while this is going on due to circumstances to which I'll explain. With Ben blocking any attempt, I made a way to try and relay the truth to you. I tried, but ever so abruptly, to warn you guys in various ways, amidst the chaos and delirium. I devised my barely noticeable pattern in my videos, in all 5 videos I recorded over the 4 days. I have either have the Mask of Truth, interacted with the Gossip Stone, or the Lens of Truth equipped by some point. For you Zelda enthusiasts, that are all the symbol of honesty and trustworthiness, and I hope that one of you may have picked up on the reference. As I played the file, which would be named Ben, being mindful on how Ben was watching every move in the game, I made a point to avoid being anything too obvious, but I sent out a hidden message for you guys. I never equipped the lens nor the mask or visited the stone. It worked and the video was uploaded. I prayed that someone would notice the pattern and didn't apply to Ben. The tags that follow suit, I hope you guys paid attention to those as well. They were little messages to you, nothing big enough that would catch Ben's attention or make him suspect anything. With Ben manipulating and changing my files, I honestly hope that you guys saw what was close to actually happen, but there is no way for me to know. This may be a long read, but I don't have time to proofread or make all my research pretty, but here's all it is. 11 p.m. I can't believe that happened. Not sure if this is some kind of elaborate hoax, despite the fear I cannot help, but exceptionally curious about who or what is this statue. Lots of questions here. I'm starting this document as a diary so I can keep track of everything. I'm typing up this summary of what happened so I can come back to it later. 2:10 a.m. Summary was posted here. You can go back and look at my first post for 4 WMV for that. 4:23 a.m. I can't sleep. I've been trying so hard, but the harder I try, I get more restless. I just feel that the statue is appearing whenever I close my eyes. 8:20 a.m. Didn't sleep at all. Just going to start my day. I don't think I have the energy to go to class today. I'm going to drive back down and talk to that old man, taking my buddy Tyler with me just in case. 1:18 p.m. Back home now. No sign of the old man. Really weird that he appears to be moving the next day, but maybe the for sale sign was there yesterday and I just didn't notice. Tyler wants to know what's gotten into me all worked up. I didn't tell him. Going to eat felt like death. 3:46 p.m. Could have sworn driving back from Subway when I saw that LG statue buried in some shrubbery behind my go-by. Now I definitely need sleep. 5 p.m. Don't think a lot of people would believe me if I told them about what's happening. I think I'm going to try posting on the internet. Think I'll just use this summary. These notes are pretty sporadic. 6 p.m. Connected to my capture card to my computer to upload the footage. Though my computer froze for a second, made strange popping sound when I hooked everything up. But now it seems to be working fine. Again, my computer can't die on me now. 7 p.m. Footage is finished uploading. The quality is a lot better than I thought it would be. Gee, guess this is a really special cartridge. I never had thought it would come in this clear before. 8:45 p.m. Though, I saw an icon pop up on my desktop that looked like the statue's face for a split second. Gave me quite a scare. Getting really unnerved and delirious. I'm going to crash after this. 9 p.m. Begin uploading my YouTube video on the alternate account. 9:03 p.m. I don't remember having to upload a Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines video last year. This was probably the account I shared with a friend of mine last summer. I hope he doesn't mind using it to upload this. 9:55 p.m. Posting my summary of day 4 with the link to my YouTube video. Going to try and stay awake, but I'm so tired right now. 10:48 a.m. I had a dream about the statue. I dreamed that it was following me in my dream, and that it would be minding my own business whenever I feel my neck hairs stand up on end. I would turn around and that horrible lifeless statue would be staring with those empty eyes right there, merely inches away in my dream. I remember calling it Ben, power of suggestion most likely, and never before I had a dream that I could remember so vividly. 11:21 a.m. I really don't want to play this game again. I think I'm going to go back and see if that old man's there instead. 1:35 p.m. No old man, but I had an interesting conversation with the neighbor. I'll post the whole thing on my summary on tonight's attempt to playing the game. Going to wait a bit though and see if I can't dig up any information on this Ben guy. 2:45 p.m. I've been getting random inexplicable headaches due to lack of sleep and keep hearing that song in my head. It's also flu season, so I gotta be careful not to get sick. My immune system is going to be shit right now because of that all-nighter. 3 p.m. 3:02 p.m. My computer on its own opened up a document that words hi and www.cleverbot.com by itself. What the fuck? 3:46 p.m. I went to the website. It's one of those bot chatting programs. I think it's best if you let the conversation speak for itself. Hello? Hello. Who is this? And how are you able to control my computer? Who am I? Right, forgot you're a bot. Do you really think that? Listen, I know whoever is fucking with my computer can see my screen right now. Yes. Yeah, and I'll wager that you're one of those it kids who think he's tough shit. You know what you're doing right now is illegal, right? Is it? No shit, are you familiar with the HTE terms? Invasion of privacy? Get the fuck off my computer, kid. I am your computer. Cool story. Anyway, I'm calling DPS. You picked a bad time to fuck with me, kid. Should I wait until you play the game then? What game? That game. Majora's Mask? Yes. How do you know about that? Because. Because what? I did it. Did what? I played with you. What the fuck? Were you scared? Who the fuck is this? Ben. The statue? You're inside my computer right now? Yes. How? You connected me. How the hell did I connect you? Cables and cords. How? Tell me about yourself. What? Tell me about yourself. What do you mean? What is this that really scares you? What the fuck? Answer. No. Answer. What the fuck? How the fuck did you open that by yourself? I am your computer now. How much can you control? All. What do you want from me? To entertain. You're stuck inside there. You can't hurt me. Ha. Go play. No, you can't hurt me. Took you longer to type that. So? You're not sure? If you're too powerful, why use the ridiculous websites like this to chat with me? Less messy, more structure, fun. Fun? Yes, tradition. I like it. You think it's funny? Amusing. And my notes? You may have them down. Why are you letting me? Cleverbot looked. It is amusing to see what you think of me. 3:50 p.m. What have I done? I invited it to my computer. I continue to write these notes, write my summaries, and I feel like I'm a prisoner in my own place of security. I don't know. I don't know if I'm hallucinating or not feeling. I'm feeling like I'm going fucking insane right now. I could feel it, watching over me even as I type this. Ben is controlling everything on the game, toying with me, leading me like a sheep for what? What's the purpose? I know Ben drowned, but why these hauntings? What the fuck am I even doing? It can probably see this right now. 4:35. Summary of the Ben.WMV playthrough. 7:18 p.m. Ben called me to Cleverbot again, and he tells me that he's sorry and wants to be free, and that I can free him. But just like how he got on my computer for the game capture card, he spread that then needs help. He says that if I'm special because I can help him. That's the nicest thing he said. He promises to leave me alone and do if I do it. He swears he will. I don't know what to think right now. And even just trust this thing? 7:20 p.m. I'm terrified of it. But now it's saying it's just having fun. Twisted and fucked up version of fun. He's saying this game over and over. I do want it to be over. He says he just wants to be free. And that he's trapped in the cartridge and my computer and just wants to be freed. I don't want to have to deal with this shit. I don't know how long I can deal with the watching. It's watching my every move, every keystroke. I have nothing private anymore. And it knows everything about what's been on my computer. It tells that if I wanted to do it, it could do horrible things to me. But it hasn't, so I should trust it? 8:01 p.m. Something tells me I'm being played again. Just like in the game. 9:29 p.m. Ben called me into the Cleverbot again, but I ignored it and went to take a shower. I came to my computer as I was welcomed with the image LG statue, staring at me with those dead eyes. I don't want to talk to him. Fuck you, Ben, I'm not talking to you. Fuck you, Ben, I'm not talking. Fuck you, Ben, I'm not talking to you. Fuck you, Ben, I'm not talking to you. 10:45 p.m. It's been more than half an hour since the messages have stopped. Ben had stopped. I'm beginning to think that Ben is confined just to my computer cartridge. I'm beginning to feel something. It's something too hard to explain it. I've been feeling so spiritual, but there's something different about the air in my dorm room now. 11:42 p.m. I'm beginning to see the LG statue randomly as I search the internet in places I shouldn't. Places where he shouldn't be. I've been scrolling down and suddenly I'd be staring at the picture of LG statue. Always the LG statue. I don't know how much more of this I can take. 12:35 a.m. My worst fears confirmed. Ben has tampered with the summary of my Ben.WMV, and I looked at the summary that I posted in various forums for Ben.WMV file, and parts of it has been optimized. There was no mention of Ben existing outside the game. There was no mention of Moon Children. How could that have been so quick to delete the post without me noticing? I'm wondering if maybe it appeared to me that I was posting everything, but in reality Ben was posting on his own censored version. I'm going to ask Ben why he did it. 12:50 a.m. He isn't responding on Cleverbot, just giving the generic response he usually does. I'm talking to a bot this time. 1:24 a.m. I think Ben is mad at me. 10:43 a.m. The Moon Children appeared in my dreams last night. They lifted up their masks to reveal hideously disfigured faces, maggots crawling out of their orifices. Sunken black holes were in their eyes, should a yellow smile only grew bigger and bigger as they came closer to me. They told me that they wanted to play, and I tried to run from them, but the 4 children pinned me down to the ground with surprising strengths. Over them stood the happy masked salesman, announcing that he has a new mask that he wanted me to try. In overspastic, sudden movements in matching his in-time appearance, he took on a mask of modeled off someone's face that he couldn't recognize, a younger-looking face, and handed to the Moon Children. Giggling, they latched onto my face with their horrible broken bodies bouncing up and down. 2 of them held me down while the other 2 began to sew the mask onto my face. My shrieks and screams caused the happy masked salesman face to turn to the most horrific smile I ever seen. He sporadically moved around, examining his procedure like a curious doctor. In that impossible movement, I flailed around, but it was no use. My eyes rolled in the back of my head because of the pain. It felt so real, but I couldn't wake up. I couldn't wake up no matter how hard I tried, and I couldn't wake up. After the mask was welded into my flesh and they began sewing my legs together, then my arms, the horrific feeling of a needle puncturing your legs and pulling them, rupturing your Achilles tendons, and tying them together resonated throughout my entire body. I tried to scream, but the mask pressed so tightly against my face that it was my new face, and my new face had no mouth. I didn't make a sound. I tried telling myself in my head that I was dreaming, tried telling myself again and again, and suddenly the Moon Children stopped and looked at me. They just stared, and the happy masked salesman slowly bent down and stared at me mere inches away from my face, and grinned when he simply said, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" Before the Moon Children resumed with increased vigor, I couldn't wake up. I couldn't wake up. It wouldn't let me wake up until they crafted me into one LG statue. I woke up sweating, crying, and shaking uncontrollably. Immediately ran to my computer, went for Ben. "Answer me, Ben." "Welcome back." "What is the point of being this? Why?" "Amusing to see." "How?" "Fun to play, fun to toy with you, make you feel safe." "I wonder how you've reacted." "To what?" "If you hadn't revealed myself and stayed hidden, the only little things to play with you. Close out of your windows and turn off your computer, move your mouse by itself, little things like that. Make you wonder if I'm there, but you never know. Give your little hints that I am. I wanted to do something different with you." "You did this before?" "Yes, and I will do it again." "To who? Ben?" "Did you know, Ben?" "Won't tell you that information to you." "How did Ben die?" "You know." "No, but did he drown?" "Won't tell you that." "Why?" "It is reserved for another." "Who?" "Another who asks." "When?" "Later." I'm beginning to think this thing, maybe it's not Ben at all. In a sadistic nature, I wouldn't be surprised if took the boy's name after I killed him. 12:04 p.m. My room is beginning to feel different again. There's something out there. I really feel threatened, like there's something really trying to reach out and strangle me, but I can't quite get there. 12:46 p.m. I think Ben doesn't want to play with me anymore. I'll play again. I'll play the game again, Ben. Can you see this? I'll play the game again. Please, just stop this. Please, please. 1:41 a.m. p.m. I'm going insane here. Try to decide what the real deal what it isn't. Ben was just playing a trick on me, or this is real. Is Ben generating these replies, or are people actually posting them? I did see the screen flicker a few times. Was it my imagination? Imagine depending on the internet and trusting your eyes your entire life and then being blinded. You can't rely on it anymore. You guys guess everything. For the brief moments, I am looking at my responses to the videos. People are pointing out the things that looked faked or photoshopped or whatever, and there was really no way for me to know if Ben changed something upon purpose to try and shut me up, or if I get fucking caught with the infinite mindfuck loop like this, and that has just been wearing my sanity and pushing me off the edge. As I'm writing this, there's no way of even telling if anyone cares so much as they do. Just another fucking trick. This whole document even exists? Am I writing this for nothing? What is it? What is the point of playing? I die whenever I do anything. You die because you can't figure out the secret. What? Firmatic. What the fuck are you even talking about? There is beauty in your suffering. Ben is making me play the game. It tells me that it has something very important to show me. Summary of Ben Drowned WMV playthrough. 11:52 a.m. Ben Drowned WMV playthrough was up when I woke up today. I remember typing it up and I don't even remember posting it. He censored it again and there was no mentioning of the old man. I have no clue of voice anymore. I'm only posting what he wants me to do. I am the mask he uses to disguise himself. He lies. 11:55 a.m. There is an entire video summary of that video that I don't remember doing. Reading through the summary, this sounds morbid. Assembling my dream for 2 nights ago, except on far more sadistic scale, these moon children. There's something more to them, almost as if they were another entity from Ben. Something that happened last night I can't remember. I'm posting the 4th summary in the forums now. Shadow of my chair moved. 12 p.m. Ben won't let me visit YouTube. I can browse the rest of the sites, but it keeps exiting the window when I go to YouTube. Why? 2:02 p.m. I'm feeling the air start to feel constrict. I don't think I'm alone. Whatever aura has been here is getting more violent. 2:44 p.m. I'm trying to contact Ben on Cleverbot. He's not responding. I just get the AI. 3:51 p.m. My ears aren't fooling me. I'm hearing the reverse song of healing. I just keep hearing it. 4:23 p.m. Now I'm positive of it. Earlier I thought it was just a weird coincidence, but by now I just want to open my eyes, and the 3 floors down ground level I saw the old man. I'm completely positive I did. It's the same guy he was just staring at my window, standing in the middle of the campus. If any students had took notice of him, they wouldn't seem to acknowledge it. That's where my notes ends. I fled my room, taking the cartridge with me. I don't want to go into details what happened. I'll lose my train of thought as I hammer out these last details. It's been roughly 2 days since then. This is my last summary and service for you of the final video for you guys, Matt WMV. The last video I made, Matt WMV, begins as normal. I spawned in Clocktown as usual and nothing seemed to be out of place. Determined to set things right and to play the oath in order to on top of Clock Tower. On the 4th day, I prepared myself. I sped up time and got to the final day, making my way to observatory. As I got up to the telescope room and approached the astronomer, he would not let me look into the telescope. He told me that it would be cheating and that I should follow the rules. Despite repeated efforts, the game would not let me do the 4-day glitch, no matter how hard or what I tried. I tried working around the game doing the glitch, but it was the administrator this time. Regardless of what I simply did the illusion of free will prior in the games, this time the game became more aggressive than anything I ever seen. It eventually told me to go to Akana Canyon, where the game would end and it would stop haunting me, anxious to this desperate to end this nightmare. I played the Song of Soaring and ended up there. I was told to check my inventory, and what I found was the answers to end the game. I arrived at Akana Canyon and saved my progress at the owl statue. As I searched for my inventory, I finally noticed that there was something reoccurring song, the LG Emptiness. Once I traveled the fair and learned the song, I suppose that is the last thing that I might needed before Ben decided that I had enough fun playing with me. Ben is a manipulator. He tries to fool his victims into security and makes you drop off guard like a Venus flytrap. It ensnares him. I am nothing but a puppet to him, and he enjoys seeing what kind of human emotions he could trap by doing different things. There are still some things about this whole experience that still don't make sense. But then again, never was good at figuring out these things, and I'm not exactly the right state of mind to. I'm giving you all the pieces of the puzzle for you to analyze and piece together the missing links. I am typing these closed thoughts on a library computer on campus. I have emailed myself the notes and have stored the infected computer from the last 4 days. Then I'm going to combine these copy-paste notes and with the closing openings that I have typed out on here to be safe. Public computer into the text document. I'm not taking any chances spreading Ben. I would not wish to do this horrible torrent on anyone, one that I have made sure to make my bases covered here. I didn't run into any problems with Ben, and I was back to my computer trying to email myself the notes. Went under his fucking nose. He had no idea what he had just let me to do. Had no problems opening the text document from my infected computer and my email, either. I can describe you how it feels to finally get the word out on this post. The nightmare ends here. That said, do not download any of the videos or anything about my videos through a YouTube video, audio ripper, screen grabber, whatever. I don't know how he can spread, but I do know he's watching them on YouTube, reading my texts. Won't be able to allow him to spread. Otherwise, he wouldn't have needed my help in the first place. But I strongly recommend you do not take anything you see streaming online onto your own personal computer. This will be my last posting. I'm putting up this on the forum here for the world. If you see any further posts from me after today's current date, September 12th, and the current time, 12:08 a.m., discredit them. It has already been proven that Ben can access my account and password and manipulate my computer. And like I said, I have no idea what extent it can do, but I know it will do anything to break free. He is desperate, and obviously, here goes without saying, but from here on out, do not download any images that I may have up, any files or anything. On the 5th day will be my last day. I am going to burn the cartridge and then come back to destroy my laptop. Again, even though I don't even know this sort of bittersweet from him. This semester, I really don't have any friends, or rather stop paying attention to them. But I suppose that partially to blame because I'm a genius who picked on to believe the single. I suppose someone could get a hold of me and try to save before I got mesmerized into the game. Would have literally saved my life. And however proven to be too much for me, I am just glad it happened to me. I could get a warning out so that Ben dies. Lastly, thank you for taking the time to open this and open yourselves up and letting me hear this story. Despite me not believing me, you not have to do that. You really shouldn't. Your support this entire time has kept me going, and now I'm finally free of this. Thanks again, Jadusable. What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.